These are the scariest roller coasters in the world. The first roller coasters came from Russia in the 17th century, called Russian mountains. They were basically large wooden slides covered in ice. Then, as time went on, there were more wooden slide coasters, then big wooden coasters like the famous Coney Island Cyclone built in 1927, and then the first all-steel coaster, the Montaña Suiza scenic coaster built in 1928 in Spain. Then came a ton of variations, all trying to increase the thrill, including sitting, standing, floorless, suspended, inverted, flying, spinning seats, motorbike seats, corkscrew, boomerang, single rail, hypercoasters, which have a height of at least 200 feet, gigacoasters, which have a height of at least 300 feet, fourth dimension coasters that have seats that move independently from the track, free spin, and many more variations and features. The scariest coaster is subjective as everyone has a different experience, and there are too many to mention. So I'll just mention some of the coasters that amateur and experienced riders consistently rank among the scariest and most thrilling. For many people, wooden coasters can feel scarier than steel coasters because of their vibration, noise, and rough movements. It can feel like their planks or nails will come apart, or the lap bar keeping you in isn't secure enough and you'll fly out. One wooden coaster that is consistently ranked as being among the scariest is El Toro in Six Flags, New Jersey. El Toro, which is Spanish for the bull, was built in 2006 by Intamin, one of the biggest roller coaster manufacturers in the world, and at the time it was the tallest and fastest wooden coaster in the world.
It's the steepest wooden roller coaster drop in the world, so ask yourself, do you have the guts? El Toro, the world's greatest wooden roller coaster, has been unleashed at Six Flags Great Adventure.
But it's now the third tallest and fastest. It has an initial 181-foot drop, which is huge for a wooden coaster, with a head chopper effect at the bottom. El Toro reaches a top speed of 70 miles per hour, has a wide variety of hills, drops, twists, and turns to give plenty of airtime like you are riding a bucking bull, and many say it is best to ride it in the front row and at night. Other wooden coasters that are among the scariest include the Beast at Kings Island, Ohio, called the Beast because construction crews called it a beast of a project. It was the tallest, fastest, and longest wooden coaster in the world when it was built in 1979, and today it still holds the record for being the longest wooden roller coaster in the world. There's also a sign warning riders to keep their arms and legs in the car because you could touch the sides quite easily. Many coasters built before about year 2000 didn't have the safety clearances that modern coasters have. There's also Voyage at Holiday World, Indiana, which has a huge first drop, is long, and maintains a lot of speed throughout. Boulder Dash at Lake Compounce, Connecticut, which is built into the side of a mountain and weaves through the trees and boulders, making it a beautiful and intense ride. Goliath at Six Flags Great America in Illinois, which has a long drop of 180 feet and the fastest speed of 72 miles per hour of any wooden coaster in the world. And Steel Vengeance at Cedar Point, Ohio, which is actually a hybrid, so it has a wood structure and steel track, the longest and fastest hybrid coaster in the world, and has some extreme airtime as well as barrel rolls. Now let's look at some of the scariest sit-down steel coasters in the world. Intimidator 305 is a steel coaster located at Kings Dominion in Virginia. It was built in 2010 by Intamin with a racing theme.
Intimidator 305, new at Kings Dominion. Inspired by Dale Earnhardt, it's the biggest, baddest, meanest coaster on the East Coast.
The name Intimidator was the late NASCAR driver Dale Earnhardt's nickname, and 305 is for its max height of 305 feet. It has a huge initial drop and reaches speeds up to 90 miles per hour, ranking it among some of the tallest and fastest coasters in the world. The ride originally ran at a top speed of 92 miles per hour, which was achieved on the right turn immediately after the first drop. But some riders experienced problems on that turn because of extremely high positive G-forces. A positive G-force is a gravitational force you can feel when going down, and a negative G-force is the gravitational force you feel when going up. Riders reported symptoms of graying out or blacking out, which is a brief loss of vision or consciousness. So to lower the number of these blackout occurrences, the first turn was widened, resulting in fewer G-forces and returning the ride to its original maximum speed of 90 miles per hour. There are 6 airtime humps that make riders, especially near the back, feel like they're flying, and 3 near ground level high-speed twists quickly whipping the riders left or right. One experienced rider said the left back seat is the most intense ride of any coaster he's ever been on. And another said, completely passed out riding it in the front row. When I came to, at first I thought I was driving and had passed out, fell asleep at the wheel, then I thought it was a dream about riding a roller coaster. Another one of the scariest sit-down steel roller coasters in the world is Kingda Ka, named after a mythical tiger.
At Six Flags Great Adventure, Kingda Ka is now open. Today, trains are loading. Today, people are launching at an incredible 128 miles per hour and soaring 456 feet in the air. Today, ride the tallest, fastest roller coaster on Earth, because Kingda Ka is now open.
It's a top hat or U-shaped steel coaster at the Six Flags theme park in New Jersey, the same park as El Toro. Kingda Ka has the world record for being the tallest coaster with the highest drop. Standing at 456 feet tall, which is about 45 stories, or about the height of the Louisiana State Capitol building for reference. And its hydraulic launch accelerates the train to 128 miles per hour in 3.5 seconds. This made it the fastest coaster in the world, but it is now the second fastest after Intamin built the Formula Rossa coaster at Ferrari World in Dubai in 2010. The Kingda Ka ride lasts only 28 seconds, and the Six Flags site says it is not recommended for wimps. Reviewers have said it's like an earthquake simulator followed by the world's quickest observation tower experience. Another said it's a one-trick pony, but it's a hell of a trick. Other sit-down steel coasters that are among the scariest includes Fury 325 in Carowinds, North Carolina, which is a bit taller and bit faster than Intimidator 305, but doesn't have as intense positive Gs. Some riders prefer one coaster over the other. Karnen at Hansa Park, Germany, where riders sit in a dark tower before an unexpected drop, and many say it is the most intense coaster in Europe. The Smiler at Alton Towers in England, which holds the record for the most inversions at 14. Velocicoaster at Universal Orlando, Florida, has great dinosaur theming, including dramatic music, and a really great barrel roll over the water. Formula Rossa at Ferrari World in the United Arab Emirates is the fastest coaster in the world that launches 0 to 62 miles per hour in about 2 seconds and reaches a max speed of 149 miles per hour. And there's also Falcon's Flight, currently under construction at Six Flags in Saudi Arabia, that when finished, possibly in 2025, will be the tallest, fastest, and longest coaster in the world. If you want a different experience than regular sit-down coasters, there are inverted roller coasters where the train runs under the track and the rider's feet dangle freely below. Inverted coasters are not as fast as sit-down coasters, but the unobstructed view of the ground makes you feel vulnerable and can produce intense G-forces. The first inverted coaster was Batman the Ride, built in 1992 by Swiss roller coaster manufacturer B&M at Six Flags Chicago, and since then there have been several built around the world. Popular inverted coasters include Nemesis Reborn, formerly called Nemesis in the UK, which was the first inverted coaster outside the US, built in England in 1994 and then upgraded in 2004. There is also Banshee at Kings Island in Ohio, which is the longest and fastest inverted coaster at 68 miles per hour. And there's giant inverted boomerangs, which is a type of inverted coaster made by the Dutch coaster manufacturer Vekoma, where the train gets shot up one lift hill, then back to the other lift hill, and keeps repeating like a boomerang. And also for dangling feet, there are wing coasters, first built in 2007 by B&M, where pairs of riders sit on either side of a roller coaster track in which nothing is above or below them. One of the most popular wing coasters is Thunderbird at Holiday World in Indiana, which has a fast launch and plenty of inversions. If you want a flying experience, there are flying roller coasters, where you are suspended in a lying down prone position. The first flying coaster was Skytrack in England, built in 1997, but ran into operation issues and was dismantled. In 2001, the Vekoma company made the first large-scale flying coaster called the Batwing, which they built at Six Flags Maryland. And since then, there have been several flying coasters built, including Tatsu, built in 2006 at Six Flags Magic Mountain in Valencia, California, which is the tallest flying coaster on top of a mountain with beautiful views, has the world's tallest pretzel loop, and is the only flying coaster with a zero-gravity roll, which is where the track twists 360 degrees as it rises and falls in elevation, usually at the crest of a hill. There is also Manta, built in 2009 at SeaWorld Orlando, Florida, which has a great manta ray theme, including seeing rays in the aquarium as you wait in line for the ride. The train cars look like manta rays, and you are gently sprayed with water as you fly near the water surface. And Fly, also called Flying Launch Coaster, was built in 2020 at Phantasialand in Germany. It is the longest flying coaster in the world at 4,055 feet, with the ride lasting 1 minute and 47 seconds. It isn't as fast or intense as the Flying Dinosaur in Japan, but it is a smooth ride set in a very cool steampunk industrial city themed setting, where you fly really close to all the buildings. There's another category of steel coasters that take the coaster experience up another level, and that is the fourth dimensional coasters, also called 4D coasters. A fourth dimensional coaster looks like a wing coaster, with a pair of riders seated on each side of the track, and their feet dangle freely. But unlike regular wing coasters, 4D coasters have seats that are programmed or choreographed to rotate forwards or backwards 360 degrees, independent of the track at certain points, to add to the unpredictability of the ride and to produce G-forces that are stronger and from different angles than a regular coaster. The first fourth dimensional coaster ever built is X2, located at Six Flags Magic Mountain in California, built in 2002 by Aerodynamics and cost $46 million to build, making it the most expensive coaster ever built.
Explore a new dimension. Action that exceeds all expectations. Experience the extreme. Only at Six Flags Magic Mountain.
Many hailed X2, which was called X at the time, as the scariest and most thrilling roller coaster ever because the independent moving seats created a whole new and crazy experience. But then, a few years later in 2006, a company called S&S Worldwide bought Aerodynamics and built Ajanika, which means "Ain't It Great" in Japanese, at Fuji-Q Highland Amusement Park in Japan. Ajanika is taller, faster, and has more spins and drops than X2. X2 has more gentle chair spins, where Ajanika whips you around really fast at the bottom of an all-out drop, and its wild spins disorient you a bit more than the X2 spins. Many experienced coaster riders call Ajanika the scariest and most thrilling coaster experience in the world. The S&S company made one more 4D coaster in China called Dinoconda in 2012, which is similar to Ajanika, but the reviewers I saw who have ridden both say the experience on Ajanika is a bit better. Then, in 2000, the Intamin company came out with a compact coaster that has a design called Zackspin, where the chairs rotate independently, like 4D coasters, but unlike 4D coaster chairs, which have controlled rotation, the Zackspin coaster chairs rotate freely or uncontrollably by the rider's weight. So this makes it even more unpredictable and wild, because each ride will be different than the last depending on how your chair chooses to spin. Kind of like the zipper ride, which you may have seen or ridden on yourself at an amusement park. In 2012, the S&S company improved on the Zackspin design by introducing what they call FreeSpin, which was similar to Zackspin, but the axis of rotation is at the center of mass of each guest, so rider comfort is improved. S&S has built 7 FreeSpin coasters in different countries, the first being Batman the Ride at Six Flags Fiesta Texas in 2015. Intamin later upgraded their Zackspin coasters to be center of mass, giving it a more comfortable ride, but the reviewers I saw who have ridden both Zackspin and FreeSpin coasters say they prefer FreeSpin as they say it is smoother and has more flips than Zackspin coasters. For a final, one of the other scariest coasters in the world is X-Scream, which is a play on the word extreme, located at the top of the Strat Hotel Casino in Vegas, which is 866 feet up in the air.
Get your scream on with X-Scream. Catapult headfirst over the edge of the Stratosphere Tower and dangle weightlessly 109 stories in the air.
X-Scream is not quite like other regular coasters. It does use a regular coaster track, but the track is only 68 feet long and it seesaws back and forth. There is only one open-top car with 8 seats, and riders are secured with a lap bar. The fast rolling back and forth of the car and the rocking of the track is programmed to take the rider by surprise and feel like they're at risk of falling off the edge of the building. And the ride is also hanging off the edge of the building with no wall in front of it, so you look straight down. Reviewers say X-Scream looks like a gentle seesaw ride at first, but when riding it, the illusion it creates like you were falling off the building tricks your mind and is terrifying. So those are some of the scariest coasters in the world. As one coaster enthusiast said, don't bother trying to rank coasters like it's a consensus. It's best to experience them with minimal expectations and then decide based on your own experience which you like best. Have you ridden any of these coasters? Which coasters do you think are the scariest? Let me know in the comments. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you're subscribed and check out my other videos where I show places in the world you should visit or avoid.